Hi everybody, so today I have this skull face painted look for you. Excuse that I haven't painted the top of my ear there. The cloak actually covers it. All I really need for this look is some black and white face paint, some brushes, and of course a cape. This is actually a reversible cape that I got a little while ago. I think it was at Costume Supercentre. I've got it with the black on the inside so that when you've painted around the outside of the face paint black, so it blacks out the rest of your skin, your skeleton's just kind of sitting in there. It looks really effective with the neck and around the actual face painting. It looks weird when I'm talking. Painted black, and then you put the cape on and you're ready to go basically. So yeah, that's it. So if you want to see how I did this, then please keep on watching. So I am starting off this tutorial by marking out the outline of the skull. I'm using one of the Sigma SFX brushes to do that, and it's got a bent sort of end, so it's actually easier to kind of control because you can change the direction of how you hold the brush a lot easier. As you can see, I've marked around the eyes, and then I've added on another piece there which is kind of the cheekbone, so it kind of curves out more. If you feel the structure of your face, you can actually feel that curves. That's more of a curved bone. It's just easier to do this way rather than freehand it for me. Some people might be comfortable with freehand, but it was just easier for me to kind of mark it out, see exactly where I'm going, and then fill it in. This is an amazing little brush. I love this brush set. I wasn't able to use it when I first got it. I was a bit nervous too, and then the next year I was ill, so I didn't get a chance to. So I've been really excited to break these brushes out and be using them, and they are totally amazing. The next thing I did was create the eye orbits, or the eye sockets. You can basically feel your own. If you press your skin, you can feel where the actual bone is. You can stick to that, or some people do like different shapes. You can do kind of longer, thin ones. It depends on the kind of expression you want your skull to have. And then I drew in this part here. I actually made this bigger later on. This is kind of like the hollow of the cheek, and it kind of comes down from that cheek piece that I drew on earlier down to the corner of the mouth. And as you can see, I just kind of wiped that bit away with my hand, and then I made it more that kind of shape, which I just think looked better than that more circular. It just looked more realistic. And I forgot to say, but the white I'm actually using is snazaroo white face paint. So then I take down to the jaw piece, just from that cheek area, drawing it down, taking it straight across the front of the chin and meeting it back up on the other side. I really get excited at this stage because I can really see the kind of structure that it's taken, and I think it looks really great even at this point. The next thing I did was I drew the bone down the centre of the nose, and then created two triangular areas where those would actually be filled in black. And as you can see, the great thing with this angled brush, I'm just turning it like lots of different ways to kind of get right into specific angles. It's really amazing for that. Next, taking another one of the SFX brushes and the snazaroo white face paint, I am just filling in the areas that are going to be white. This brush is really amazing for painting on. I was worried I wouldn't get precision, I was worried I wouldn't get right to the lines I'd be going across them, but it actually worked out a lot better than I expected it to. For the most part, that's what kind of stops me almost doing things like creating looks, is that I kind of feel like, oh, it won't be any good, or I'm not going to be able to do it, and then I get too tentative and anxious about it. You should just have a go at it. If it doesn't turn out great, then just practice. But I really liked how this turned out, and I was really glad that I gave it a go. So as you can see, I've now got most of the face filled in. Careful to fill in around the nose area to make sure that you're not leaving any kind of exposed areas of skin. I also covered my lips with the snazaroo white face paint as well. This paint dries so quickly and it's such a nice coverage. I was really pleased with how it turned out. Yay! So that's it. That's all of the white areas complete. If you go over the edges a little bit, don't worry, we're going in with black and it will cover it. So next I went on to add some sort of definition and shading. So using the Snazaroo grey face paint, I actually added a line in here that goes from the corner of that piece that's going to be black to the end of the skull, and that's basically where we kind of drew in that curve of the cheekbone. And then with what was left on the brush, I just added a little bit of shading underneath, and then added a tiny bit of black and smudged it out with my finger just to kind of give the illusion of a shadow, because that is where the jaw would be hinged. From here I added a little bit of definition down onto what would be the edge of the jawline, and then I went underneath the eyes and did the same. Underneath the eyes basically you would just have a little bit of kind of a definition here because this is the edge of the eye socket, and it just kind of gives the illusion, these little bits of grey lines, gives the illusion of some dimension, so it stops it being just kind of a flat white mask, and that's what kind of makes this come up to life really. Really brings it to a much more realistic looking type of skull. I'm adding them up onto the kind of brow bone. That gives the illusion of where the plate of the forehead bone falls back, gives that kind of sort of shadow that you would get. And then I started to add in the first marking for the teeth. So this is in grey, and it's just kind of keeping it pretty similar to what the teeth shape is of your own teeth. So remembering to keep the top two quite large and then taking them down a bit smaller. You want to make these marks quite long really, because obviously our teeth actually recede into our gums, but they are longer than what we can actually see visibly in a human face. So if you keep those long, it's a lot more realistic, because if you see a skull, you can see that the teeth do look a lot longer. Next, go on to another one of the Sigma SFX brushes. This is a slightly longer, thinner one. I'm taking black Snazaroo face paint and I'm just filling in the outline around the sides of the skull. When the costume goes on and you can see this actually looks so effective. If you've got like a hood or a cape on, it just kind of makes your face sink back into like the black fabric. It just looks so effective. I really loved how it looked once I got the costume on, and I also painted in my neck at this point. And then I went on to filling in the hollows of the cheeks. So just going very carefully with that same brush with the Snazaroo face paint in black, I am just going carefully around the edges and filling in that hollow. Then I went on to do the eye. So again, just filling this in, staying directly to the lines, making it nice and neat. And that's the eyes and the hollows filled in. I then decided to go back to that little sort of thin eyeliner brush with the black snazaroo face paint, and I added a crack to the top of the skull, bringing down some smaller cracks coming from that. I just thought it looked quite nice. I added just a bit of smudging with my finger to make it look like it was kind of old and a little bit worn. I just added a little bit of a detail to the skull rather than it just kind of being a straight on white skull. Just made it look a bit aged, I guess. Then I went on to use the same snazaroo face paint in black and painted in the triangles on the nose. And now you can see it's totally taken shape. Next, I went on to use that same brush with the black on and just added a little bit of definition to the bottom parts of the tooth, which is the parts that are on the lip. So not going all the way up that grey line, but just adding some darker definition like on the lip area, just so that you can see that those are teeth and they're kind of receding back into the skull. Just made those stand out a bit more. And then just a little bit of smudging just to kind of make the lines softer. And I think it really made a difference. Here I'm just kind of changing the slight shape at the end of those hollows, just kind of blending it a bit more into that kind of jawline shading there. I think I just like the look of that shaping a bit better. It just felt a bit more natural looking, I think. Next I added on a cape. You can get these capes off eBay. This is a really high quality cape though. It's velvet or black velvet on one side, then it's a red satin inside. I've got it inside out just so you can kind of see what this looks like with kind of the black on the inside with the black neck. I did paint a few bones down the actual neckline as you can see there, but I decided not to go like too strong with the white paint because I just decided to kind of not go there with it really. And here you can see the final look. I was really pleased with how it turned out. I think it actually looked fairly realistic, and I just, for a first attempt at really having a go at this, I was pleased. Now, I've turned the cape the other way, and I'm going to insert some footage of me in my costume. At H&M in the UK you can get a skeleton unitard. It's not the most flattering of things for us curvy girls. However, you do look like you've lost a lot of weight instantly when you put it on. So I'm going to put some footage in now of me wearing it. I would actually get gloves, and you can get socks as well, but obviously you'd want to wear shoes, so I'd probably wear like all black plimsolls or something with it, and definitely get the skeleton gloves to go with it as well, because they would look really, really good to kind of finish the look off. So this bodysuit is from H&M. I will link it below if it is still in stock. It's heavy lycra and it has the skeleton printed on in kind of a rubberized sort of print. It's full length and it is anatomically correct. So thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you're enjoying the series, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Keep on screaming. Bye. And I had to leave this bit in because this was so funny when my husband panned down and there was Finley.